Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. It's the podcast where we watch The Muppet Christmas Carol 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Anthony Strand.
I'm your other host, Ryan Rowe.
And today we are thrilled to be joined by a first-time guest. Guest, who are you?
I am Noel MacNeal. And I've done this.
What?
I've done this sort of Muppet puppet thing for a while. So I've been with Sesame Street. I've been on Nickelodeon. I've been on Disney, and been a bear in a big blue house and a dragon, and occasionally I'm a cursing squirrel on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Yes, you're the in-house puppeteer for Last Week Tonight.
Yes.
That's very cool.
Oh, yes.
That's great. And we are beyond thrilled that you are joining us here today
Yes.
to talk about minutes 19 and 20 of the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Well, we got a guy named Noel. Pretty much you got to have him on a Christmas show. So.
Oh, yeah. We weren't even thinking that.
Sure, yeah.
But many, many exciting reasons to have you on.
Right. So in these minutes, Kermit continues singing One More Sleep and goes skating with the penguins.
Yes.
So we start at the end of the previous shot where we have panned down to see the brooms that a rat is using as stilts to sweep the floor. And Ryan, last week you were talking about how this is one of your favorite shots in the movie.
Yeah, mostly because
I cut off in the middle of it.
I don't really know how they did it because, as I think I said last week, this shot with the brooms starts at the top of the frame. It just looks like maybe there's a puppeteer below, like moving the rats on sticks that are made up to look like broomsticks. But then the camera moves all the way down and you actually see the entire broom as it's sweeping dust into the dustpan. So I don't know how they did this.
This is one of those like really great practical shots. And
yeah.
I'm going to guess that how they did it was that because like the brooms were long enough, you start with a rigged rat holding on to each broom. And down below, out of frame, you've got one puppeteer who's actually pushing the brooms back and forth. Then as the camera pans down, that puppeteer lets go. And the other puppeteer then grabs the top and continues the motion.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that would do it.
So there's a lot of practical, like stuff, like that whole sequence with the rats is like, it's an example of like, of storyboarding and how we want, like in the script, you could say like, and the rats do antics. They lock up the shop. And so that's when you come up with gags and you storyboard them. So then you can send them to the shop and the artists at the shop can figure out, okay, how do they want like the rats to sweep or put books away
right.
you just create something for that particular frame. And then it's also a really great example of how editing really works when you cut it all together and make it just seem so fluid that you don't even think about. Like you said, like how did the rats do that? It's like, well, they're rats. So
yeah, in the world of the movie, it's just like, they're just Muppet rats. They can just
they're just Muppet
things.
rats.
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's it. But it's like each little sequence is that way. It's just like when one of the rats, maybe is it Rizzo? No, it's not Rizzo. One of the rats, like, flings himself to the window shade. That's one shot, like cut.
Yeah.
And then he like gets attached and then starts to make the motion, cut. And then you just see the next rigged rat that's pulled all the way down, cut. And it's like all those scenes just get set up. And it's like it's not like you just do it like that. There's like a whole process of like, you have to like have the camera at the right angle. Because you have to have like lighting. Lighting takes forever. At least they always tell you that. And then it's like, and once you get that shot, you'll do it like maybe a couple of times and then like, that's it. And you move on and you get to set up the next shot, which means like re-rigging the camera, relighting it, rigging up the rat for that particular thing. I'm just like going, cut. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, this is why we wanted such an experienced puppeteer as yourself on this episode, just because we have no idea how any of this stuff is done. Really.
Well, I've actually directed. I'm actually currently like one of the directors now for Sesame Street.
Yeah.
So I was like getting a script and then figuring out like how to do it, or most often like, well, how would I want to see this? And
Right.
how much fun could I get out of doing this? And so it's like, that's how you would you come up with it. So, kudos to Brian and everybody, because Brian Henson directed it.
Yeah.
Him and everybody who came up with the little gags for the rats, because the rats are great.
Yeah, and it's such a charming sequence.
Oh yeah, it's like comedy relief before the usual ghost and woo starts happening. So.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and specifically the scene where the rat pulls the shade down, which you just talked about. That's the second time we've seen that, because he fails the first time. Like the rat tries and falls.
Right.
And
exactly.
it's so satisfying to see him get it right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's and you can tell when it's working when you actually feel empathy for a rat pulling down the shade.
And it's not even like an important rat. It's just one of the rats.
It's just one of many rats. Yeah. Because it's not Rizzo. Because he's with Gonzo the whole time. Right. So, but it's just like one of his many, many brethren who are like, the staff, which is really funny that, there's Cratchit, but then there's also the staff of like rats.
Yeah.
Which shows how really cheap Scrooge is in terms of he won't hire actual human beings. He'll hire, and mistreat a frog and a legion of vermin to get his accounting done.
Yeah. But that's in character.
Yes, exactly.
So when the rat jumps to like catapult the other rat, is it reasonable to think that is probably a marionette when it's jumping off?
It's probably like a quick little marionette that just gets yanked up, just like wee.
Yeah.
It's just really quick. And looking at, the movie was shot. Do you know what year it was shot? It was like 1990. It was like
it came out at the end of 92, so probably must
92. So yeah, because it's dedicated to Jim and to Richard.
Yes.
And so it's after like 1990. So there were a lot of just practical effects. If they made it today, there probably wouldn't be as many practical effects. They would probably rely way too much on like CGI, and especially like wiping out the rods of like the puppets and all that. But back then, it was just like it was very like practical effects. Like that whole opening sequence when they're going over the rooftops. That's a real model. That's a model that they're going over. That's not CGI. That's an actual model that was built, and the camera's just going over it and like panning down, which is beautiful.
Yeah,
so
looks great.
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah. So for that sequence with the rats, they really had to think of like specifically like for that particular shot and angle, like what the rats could do, because you only get one chance at this, and if it doesn't work, then it's kind of embarrassing after all that time in setup. It's like, it's not working.
Yeah. Then what do you do?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then the final thing that the rats do is some rats place a stack of books with another rat sitting on top of it on the shelf.
He's just making that stack heavier for his coworkers. What's the deal?
Yeah,
right.
And it's just a rat that's rigged on top of this stack of books. You never see the bottom of the stack of books. You see these other stack of books. So immediately you're given the image of, oh, there's a shelf like down below that I'm not seeing. So because these other stack of books are already there. So it's, creating this whole sense of like, oh, it's a shelf and the rats are it. So chances are they had, like a stack with the rat rigged on top that was and the stack was on a pole. And the shelf probably had like a slot in it, so that when the books came in, they just like sat on that slot. But since it was below frame, you didn't see the slot. You just saw it like land on this shelf.
And your mind just fills in the entire
scurry away.
Bookcase.
Yeah. And it's just, and again, it's like you had to set up that shot, set up the angle, light it, and and then just do it for that particular one bit.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. And the rats are all delighted that they've got it done. One of them, they all cheer. All right. One of them says, "That's it."
Yeah.
and then Kermit nods and says, "Very good, gentlemen," because Kermit too is very pleased with the job that they've done.
Yes, because he can finally get out of there. That's why.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. And then they all go outside, and Kermit, or Bob Cratchit, I guess I should say, is so excited that they got out of there that he starts singing the bridge.
Well, here's the thing, though. There's a shot in between where we see one of Kermit's hands pull the door closed.
Right.
Kermit's other hand sticks a key in the keyhole, turns it the other way, and pulls it out. On the DVD commentary, Brian Henson says that this was one of the hardest shots in the entire movie. He doesn't elaborate on that really, but I guess it has something to do with like getting Kermit to stick the key like exactly in the right spot in the keyhole.
Yeah, and also like really like selling like the keys going in, turning it back, and pulling it out, as opposed to like missing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then and also giving the weight to it. Like you don't want to go in too slowly and like
yeah, you want to make it seem like it's really locking.
You know what I mean?
Like
you put it in,
it's
you turn it back out again. Yeah. But again, it's like a shot that one shot is set up for that one angle, and you've got the one arm that's pulling it closed, probably by one puppeteer, and then there's another puppeteer just doing Kermit's arm, putting the key in, turning it, and pulling it out. And then that's when you cut back to Kermit just turning around. So that for that one shot is the setup. Again, setting up Kermit, setting up the lighting, and just like for that one quick moment, but that just sells it that like, okay, we've locked the door. And it's great.
Yeah.
Because it actually has like a weight to like pulling the door closed, putting the key in, turning the key, and pulling it out. And then Kermit just turning around. It's like, all right, we're done.
Yeah.
Right. So then they go outside and Kermit starts singing the bridge to the song, starting with the line, "'Tis the season to be jolly and joyous," which is the only line from this song that's in the trailer.
Yes.
So when I was a kid, this was on TV. The TV spots had that line in it. And my brother Derek, my older brother, misheard it as Jolly and Joyal. And he sang it that way all the time. Like that whole Christmas
Jolly
season.
and Joyal.
Jolly and Joyal. He's 10 years old at this time.
Wow.
And I think
that sounds like characters that could be in the movie. It's like Jolly and Joyal.
Like two wacky sidekicks, Jolly and Joyal.
Right, yes. Those wacky Tudor bakers, Jolly and Joyal, and their push cart.
Yeah.
Sure, played by New Zealand. But yeah, so I think of that every time. And then the next line then is, "With a burst of pleasure, we feel it arrive." And Kermit says it. That's all. He straight up says it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just he pulls a Rex Harrison and just kind of like sings it.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's it. We're done. Yeah.
We've also talked a lot about the costumes. We've raved about these costumes, but again, I just want to say, like, Kermit is wearing a top hat here. He looks great in this Kermit-sized top hat, and all the rats are wearing their little coats and top hats too. And I just love them all.
Yeah, enough credit is never given to the Henson workshop, and like, not just making the puppets, but just making, like, you got to make costumes. You got to make little tiny waistcoats for rats.
Yeah. You can't just go buy those. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't go to, Build-A-Bear and get like a whole Victorian outfit. And I was like, no. It's like you actually have to like actually create and individual too. You have the pattern, but then individually dress these rats. Some are male, some are female. Eventually when they go outside. Then you got penguins outside who have to be dressed as well.
Right, the penguins are dressed. We don't always see penguins wearing clothing in Muppet productions.
Little muffs, like they put their wings in muffs. It's like why are your wings cold? You're a penguin. Why are you why are you having a muff? But it's like,
that's a good point. They should be prepared for cold weather.
Yeah, but it's the penguin skating party. So then that's when you do just like silly, and this I call it just like silly. It's puppet gags, from the rats.
Yeah.
Even before when the rats, say heat wave, it's just like one of those little gags that just like gets thrown in, and so now like right after the sequence with the rats, you have this whole sequence with the penguin skating party, just to keep it, and just emphasize the whole song and the feeling that this is a special night, it's a special time of year, emphasizing that Kermit Cratchit, is finding the joy of the moment, even though he's dirt poor, and it doesn't cost him anything to hang out with his coworkers and the community that happen to be rats and penguins having a little skating party before he goes home to his family on Christmas Eve, which is great.
And meanwhile, Scrooge, who is rich, is just having a bad time as usual.
Yeah, he's like, I've actually read like A Christmas Carol, and like Gonzo says, like, if you like the movie, you should read the book. And it's really great. And then there's the Alistair Sim version of Christmas Carol, the black and white one, and like there's certain like details they never like throw in depending upon the adaptation. Like the house that Scrooge goes to, that was originally Marley's house, and Scrooge
I hadn't noticed
took
that
it over
before.
when the man died.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, that's one of the segments is I always talk about how one of the segments we do here on the podcast is that I always talk about how it compares to the book. And in this one, since you brought it up, I'll say it now. In the book, Bob Cratchit does play with children on his way home. Like he doesn't go to the penguin skating party.
No penguins in the book.
Yeah, there's no penguins. But the passage in the book is, the office was closed in a twinkling, and the clerk, with the long ends of his white comforter dangling below his waist, went down a slide on Cornhill at the end of a lane of boys 20 times in honor of it being Christmas Eve.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, so they just
times
adapted
in honor of
that
it
for
being
like
Christmas
penguins
Eve?
and Kermit sliding, and yeah, exactly.
Right. So like even this, like you say, is almost right out of the book. It's really impressive to me.
Yeah, they took something from the book and made it
the
Muppety.
spirit.
Yeah,
right.
And Gonzo's lines, being the narrator, they're straight from the book too.
Right.
Yeah.
So many of them. Yeah.
I forgot to look up the actual article here, but our friend Danny Horn, the founder of toughpigs.com, when he was running Muppet Zine many years ago, this Muppet fanzine, he wrote an article that I think was just like a roundup of all the Muppet holiday specials. And he had all these categories for each one, like what year did it come out? What's the synopsis? Who's in it? One of the categories was who slips on the ice, something to that effect. Because really in most, or probably most Muppet productions, at some point there's either ice skating, like in Christmas Eve on Sesame Street, there's ice skating. In this, it's the penguin skating party. Emmett Otter and his ma go down that ice slide that Pa built. And then, of course, in Muppet Family Christmas, everybody slips on the icy patch. Yeah, so it is a tradition for Muppets to slip and slide on ice.
That's true. Same thing for the Bear Christmas episodes. We didn't do that. So we...
is there nobody slips or goes ice
Nobody
skating?
slips on ice.
Huh.
Wow. In our specials, no, we were dealing with snow, so
right.
But no one slipped on ice, so we didn't have time. We did go to the mall and visit Santa Hogg, which was Santa's fill-in, played by Doc Hogg. But no, nobody slipped on ice. So
right, but so here, not just Kermit, not just the penguins, but after Kermit slips around on the ice, the rats all laugh at him when he gets knocked over by a penguin, which I think is very funny.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Again, cheap puppet Muppet humor. Just like
and they're doing this using different techniques again. On that DVD commentary, Brian Henson says that when you see the penguins like skating around and you can see its whole body on the ice, he says they shot that with no floor. So I guess just the puppeteer running around or rolling around, and then they matted in the floor, and they had to mat in the reflection of the penguin on the ice because it's ice.
It's ice. Yes,
so,
exactly.
So it cuts from that then to a shot of Kermit, and that's when you see the penguin like run into Kermit and just go flying. So presumably that's just a puppeteer throwing the penguin.
Yeah, or just slamming into Kermit, just like bam, and just like falling over. That's it. Yeah, the puppet just got the penguin on, but just like bam, that's it. And Kermit just falls over.
Right. And then at that point, our narrator, Gonzo, decides he wants to join in. He says, wow, and tries to pull Rizzo in, and Rizzo says no way, but Gonzo pulls him over. And then we see them skate past with Rizzo on top of Gonzo's hat.
Yes.
Which is such a delight.
Yes.
To me.
I like that it looks like they slow down as they approach they do a spin in the middle.
Yeah.
It looks like they kind of slow down and then spin and then speed up the rest of the way, which maybe sort of defies the laws of physics, but it seems appropriate for Gonzo.
Yeah, exactly. Just like if you're really being nitpicky about physics, like again, look what you're looking at. This is like
no, it looks great.
A rat riding on God knows what Gonzo is.
Yes.
during the penguin skating party.
In a Charles Dickens story.
Exactly. So it's just like, let it go. Yeah.
Right. Then Rizzo falls into a barrel. They run into a barrel. Rizzo falls in, and we get that great shot, from Gonzo's perspective, looking down into the barrel.
Right.
And Rizzo's looking up at him and tapping his foot, impatiently.
That just really makes me laugh.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's like one of those shots where it's just set up, where there was a specific shot for like the barrel and the camera looking down and lighting it so that you could see like Rizzo at the bottom, and a Rizzo that's rigged there, and like his little foot's rigged to tap up and down, and then you got that shot. Cut. Then set up for the next shot. It was this reverse shot of like looking up, which is like this. There's two barrels, or there's a barrel that's been cut in half. So you got the one that's got the viewpoint looking down, and then you've got another barrel that's cut so that you get the viewpoint looking up with Gonzo like peeking in, and of course you have to have like the angle of the building like behind it or matted in.
I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, so it's like all these little things. All these little things just take time, but then edited together, it just like flows along. You don't think about it; it just happens.
Yeah.
Would you guess that they built a special Rizzo with the foot mechanism, or just like modified one? I mean, I guess you don't know, but like
they may have. Well, with Rizzo and the rats, there's the rats that you put on your hand, and then there are the ones that can be marionetted, the ones that can be thrown, and then there's the ones that are remote controlled, so that they could sit on certain things and like have their little heads move and all that. So this was probably a Rizzo that was like like the hand puppet mounted in the bottom of the barrel. And like his foot was rigged, like it could just go like maybe a little rod or something, but it's like going up and down like that, and and his little head like looking up. Right, so that was probably the puppet with a rigged foot, just like tapping up and down impatiently, right. And then Gonzo, just regular Gonzo, just like peeking and looking down at him.
Yeah, I love that.
So fun. And
all these Christmas secrets we're just giving away now.
No, this is great. This is fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Thank you so much. Then finally, Bob Cratchit wishes the Penguins Merry Christmas, and then he goes back to singing. He almost sings the last few lines of the song.
Almost.
I think we cut off before the last line of the song here. The last thing Kermit says in this clip is, "Everyone can feel it. The feeling's running deep." And then we're done.
Well, then one of the rats says, "Merry Christmas, Mister," but then we don't hear Mr. Who. Could be.
Yeah, but then you cut to Scrooge after that. So he did. I mean, Kermit does say Christmas Day. That's when they leave, and that's when Kermit turns. Right, that's when you cut to that shot of Kermit head to toe in the street.
That's in the next clip. That's in our next episode.
Yes, we'll get to that next episode.
That's one of the things.
Spoilers, kids. Spoilers.
Right. That's one of the kind of silly things about our format of our show is, who cares where the clip cuts off, really?
No, everyone has seen these movies before.
Right. We always act like it's gospel to stop talking about it when it's at the end of the clip.
No, keep going. It's a great sequence. It's like,
right.
Closure, proper closure. That's what you need.
And speaking of closure, thank you for that segue, Noel. Speaking of closure,
sure.
Do you have any other thoughts about these 2 minutes before we close?
Oh, it's great. It's just an example of like what a great movie this is. We watch it every year. We introduced it to my son when he was young, and I hadn't seen it in years. And when my son was old enough, there was a year where he was just like obsessed with like Scrooge. I think he was like 4 years old, and like all the Christmas carols. In fact, to the point where we had ordered the turkey down the street at the butcher's, and he insisted upon dressing in like a top hat and a cane and a cape to go and collect the Christmas turkey. And I have a picture of him with the top hat and the cape holding the turkey as he's taking it home. But as he was going down the street, this 4-year-old's going, "Humbug, humbug." We watched the Muppets. We watched Mr. Magoo.
Sure.
By the way, did you know that Mr. Magoo was the very first animated Christmas special? Like before Charlie Brown, before The Grinch. It was Mr.
Yeah.
Magoo before
I've heard
Rudolph.
that.
It was Mr. Magoo.
I have still not seen the Mr. Magoo Christmas Carol, but I need to.
What?
Yeah, I know.
It's so good. I've been telling him it's my mom's favorite Christmas special, so I've
It's like
seen it.
the songs are
every
great
year.
by like Jewel Stein, and it's like it's got Ted Cassidy singing in it. It's got Bob, Jim Backus.
Yeah.
And the songs are great.
I will get
so,
to it by
They
the end of
truly
this
are.
podcast season.
Yeah, it's like this. They're so good. And then so it's like we watch it still to this day. We watch it like every year. We have to watch the Muppet Christmas Carol because I forgot how good it was until I saw it with him for that first time. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot this was really a good movie. This was great. We've just been watching it ever since. And the songs are wonderful. From the guy who did Rainbow Connection, so Paul Williams knows how to write really good music. So my favorite, of course, is spoiler alert. 3 episodes down is "Feels Like Christmas," the song that goes to Christmas Present,
Right?
which is a gorgeous puppet. It's like I always tend to go for body puppets, and it's like I would love.
Oh yeah,
to
that's kind of one of your specialties.
do that character. It's just like be that, and then to have Jerry do the voice, it's like perfect. It's absolutely perfect. He and the puppeteer coordinated themselves so well. So it's a great movie. It still holds up.
Yeah. So that actually is one of the things we like to ask all of our guests, and you've started answering this. Do you remember the first time you saw it, and where would you rank it among the Muppet movies?
I actually saw it in a movie theater on the Upper East Side when it first came out, and I loved it. And I remember being in the movie theater and seeing the sequence that had gotten edited out for TV when Love Is Gone.
Yeah.
But apparently it's being restored now, so it's being put back.
That's what we hear. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in terms of like ranking, my favorite will always be like the original Muppet movie because it was like the first one, and I remember seeing it the day after I graduated from high school.
Oh, wow!
It does at the Ziegfeld Theater, this really big theater in Midtown.
Wow.
So that's my favorite, and then my second favorite is The Muppets Take Manhattan because that was very silly. Also, I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm Big Bird in the Church. And then I guess the Christmas Carol would be my third, of the top three. Number 3 would be the Muppet Christmas Carol. So because it's really great, and it goes back to like the Muppets being this sort of like little troupe of actors that put on these like shows. Because Jim was influenced by Bert Tillstrom, and Bert Tillstrom did Kukla, Fran, and Ollie, and there was Fran Allison, who was like the straight man or straight woman to Kukla and Ollie and all the other puppets who were the Kuklapolitan players, and they would put on shows. That's why they had a little proscenium. So, so it's like that sort of like feeling that inspired Jim, that helped like form the unit that was used for the Muppet Show, like this oddball little family that somehow get together and put on a show, and chaos ensues, but it's still good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Right. Thank you so much. So Ryan, did you have any final thoughts before we close?
Not really, other than I was just gonna talk about ice skating, just because I don't think I've ever been ice skating. I was wondering if the two of you had ice skating experience.
There's a great I've been rewatching. Well, I guess because I remember seeing them when I was young. But on HBO Max, there are like all the seasons of Sesame Street, and they don't have every episode, but for certain seasons they have like select episodes of Sesame Street.
We interrupt this program for a moving right along newsflash. At the time of this recording, there were in fact many episodes from many classic seasons of Sesame Street available on HBO Max. Unfortunately, in recent weeks, hundreds of these classic episodes were removed from HBO Max. This is indeed a highly regrettable situation, and, well, it stinks. Now, back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
And I've been going back and looking at them, and there's one bit, I think it's from season 6 or 7, where Ernie and Bert are in bed, and Bert has trouble falling asleep. And so Ernie suggested, well, why don't you dream about something you'd like to do. And that's when Bert starts dreaming about ice skating. And he kind of just like stays back and starts thinking about ice skating. And that's when they dissolve to the Holiday on Ice Bert.
Yeah.
On ice skates, skating around, doing all these great little moves and pirouettes and all that. And once he's done, he like goes on one knee and like very slowly spins. And that's when they dissolve back to Bert in his bed and he's sound asleep. And it's a really sweet little sequence. It's great.
Is very sweet and actually really relaxing to watch.
Ernie didn't drive him crazy. Actually gave him great advice, and Bert actually got to go to sleep.
Yeah,
but it was really sweet. It was a really sweet sequence.
Yeah, that's a win for Bert.
Yeah,
exactly. That's great.
One of the few,
awesome.
But yeah.
I'll definitely have to go watch that one.
Yes, it's very good. I'm sure you could probably individually watch it on YouTube, but if you get a chance, watch the early episodes of Sesame on HBO Max. So it's really interesting seeing the evolution of the style and manipulation that Jim, Frank, Jerry, Carol, Richard all developed.
Yeah.
Because they were there every day and they just got better and better and better at it. So it's worth it.
Yes.
It's fun.
It is. Oh, I agree completely.
Yeah. You get to see bits that they would never play today, characters telling each other to shut up.
And just stuff that's really weird.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, all right. That brings us down to the end for this one. We will be back next week with another episode of Moving Right Along. Until then, you can always check out toughpigs.com on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, all over the place. You can become a patron of ours on Patreon. You can email us with any thoughts or comments at movingrightalong@toughpigs.com. You can follow Ryan on Twitter at @MeRyanRowe and on Letterboxd at @MoviesAreNeat. You can follow me on Letterboxd at @ZeppoMarxist. Noel, where can our listeners find you or your work online?
On the corner of Fifth Avenue and on Twitter at MacNeal. I'm on Facebook at The Show Me Show, and also on YouTube. I have a channel, The Show Me Show, and it's a show I'm developing for kids of autism and special needs. And so click and subscribe, The Show Me Show on YouTube. And I'm also on the TikTok with a certain Bruin who lived in a big blue house. And we do little videos. And actually, I also do little greetings with him on Cameo that I just did a series of them and got to donate a portion to a charity. And yeah, exactly. So.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you as well to Morgan Davy for designing our logo. And listeners, don't forget to give us a positive review on whatever podcatcher you use and tell everyone you see at the Penguin Skating Party to listen to Moving Right Along. We'll be back next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So long.